Hello there and welcome to CNR Extra here on City TV, coming to you live from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, Accra. My name is Philip Latte. Coming up, Ghana Immigration Service assures immigration officer killed in Boko by unknown assailants last Monday will be given a befitting burial.
Very, very painful to assure them that all that it will take for the government, the National Security Authority, to bring their perpetrators to book will be done.
Lands and Natural Resources Ministry gives 2-week ultimatum to GNPC to rehabilitate Pristia Sankofa mines or have the mines shut down.
Very unfortunate, and I have given them 2 weeks to get it renovated. Otherwise, we will come and shut the operations of Sankofa, because we cannot put the lives of poor Ghanaians under this risk.
2 dead following clashes between 2 farming communities in the Wa East district of the Upper West region.
Our team, there were just 27 people who went there to do our routine monitoring of the area, and over 300 people attacked them.
And later on CNR Extra, 1 student injured after fire gutted boys' dormitory block of the Business Senior High School in Sagnerugu municipality of the northern region.
The boy who was in the fire is at the hospital responding to treatment. It's severe because the burns, his face, they are just part of his body.
CNR Extra is live on City TV. You can join us for your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204 447033. And you can join us on YouTube as we stream there live on CityTube. Jude Mensa Dankania, welcome to the show as the Good Friday edition of CNR Extra.
Yeah, I mean, as Christians, we are mourning.
Did you go to church this morning?
I went to church online, but I mean, the whole of the dawn and midnight, I was on a prayer session, so that also counts as church, if you ask me. I mean, like I'm saying, we are mourning the sorrowful death of our dear Lord Jesus. So yeah, we are in the season of remembering his sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice on the cross of Calvary.
I will still have to bring you the updates and the news as well. So that is the reason we're having the CNR show today, CNR Extra show today. Let's bring you the very first story that has to do with the Ghana Immigration Service, the immigration officer who was killed in Boko. Well, the Immigration Service is saying that the officer deserves a befitting burial.
The leadership of the Ghana Immigration Service has given assurances that the slain immigration officer who died last Monday will be given a befitting burial. The officer, who was in the company of 2 other officers, was shot by unknown gunmen in Boko in the Upper East region while in a private vehicle. During a visit by officials from the GIS to the deceased family house, the GIS assured of bringing the perpetrators to book. Now, my colleague Kweku Danyame Ansah was with the entourage, and so Kweku, kindly give us the details of what transpired at the family house of the slain officer.
Right, so the unfortunate incident, as has been reported by the Ghana Immigration Service, occurred on Monday evening when 3 immigration officers were on board a private vehicle to buy food when this particular incident occurred. Some unknown gunmen sprang up from nowhere and shot indiscriminately into the vehicle that these officers were in. In the process, 2 of the officers had some injuries which are severe to be noted. Also, the third officer, who has been identified as a 42-year-old immigration officer, Philip Morte, lost his life when he was transported to the hospital to receive treatment after the incident. Well, after tracing, we do understand that this officer, who is now deceased, resides here at Klagon, a community in the Greater Accra region, where the leadership of the Ghana Immigration Service has come to pay their last respect and also commiserate with the family of the slain officer. Well, it is unclear as of now what may have accounted for the shooting incident, but this has also brought about some security issues in the Boko township. The leadership has been speaking to the family on this particular issue and has promised to give the slain officer a befitting burial.
I want to assure the family that it's very painful, very, very painful, to assure them that all that it will take for the government, the National Security Authority, to bring their perpetrators to book will be done. We want to assure them also that our colleague will be given a befitting burial. We will need to replace Philip from the family. I repeat, we need to replace him from the family. So I'll have a tete-a-tete with my learned colleague and captain as to what to do.
So on the part of the family, the junior brother of the slain officer has been speaking. He is calling for the perpetrators to be brought to book, and he has described this incident as uncalled for and barbaric.
It was a very hurtful one. It was devastating. It was a very cruel way in which a person possibly could go to depart the surface of this earth. And those of us who grew up with him, who have lived with him all these years, we are still left in shock. We are only hoping that you will take steps to liaise with other security agencies to bring the perpetrators of this heinous and barbaric act to book. And so we would appreciate it if you can, as a matter of dispatch, bring back our brother and son, as a matter of urgency, because as a matter of tradition, matters of this nature are not kept for long. We need to hurry up and then do what we need to do. There are rituals to be performed, there are things to be done, very important things to be done. And so if we don't see him, we can't go to the village. We need to see him.
Reporting for City News, my name is Kweku Aduamansa.
May the soul of Philip Morte rest in perfect peace. This is a very sad one. You are in the line of duty and you just meet your untimely death. But the Ghana Immigration Service has given its surest indication, strongest indication that they would investigate the matter and all perpetrators will be found in this case will be brought to book.
I mean,
I think this has to do, related this one way or the other. It's like what happened at Ashaman.
I mean, off air, I was telling you about how someone very close to him on my contact list has been mourning his passing. And I mean, in a series of pictures and videos, the person, you could see that the late officer Philip was someone who he endeared to many, really. I mean, so many videos of him in very happy moments with family and friends and close relatives. So it's a very sad one. And I've always said that, see, when people or service members who put their lives all the time in harm's way for our sake are left to go through such very despicable and very cruel way of death, really, it's always a very difficult moment and very unfortunate, because these people, to a large extent, like I'm saying, they go into service for our sake. They literally put their life down, hoping to pay the ultimate sacrifice. And at the end of the day, when they have to pay that sacrifice, it's always a very difficult time to deal with it. So our commiserations, really, our sincere condolences to the family, his immediate family, the immigration service at large. It's a very painful loss, and we are with them in this particular one. Listening to the Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, he mentioned that a relative from his family will be replaced. Yeah, that is where I'm not too sure about going for it, because we've always said that we need the highest possible standards in our security.
But that has been the practice.
Yeah, I mean,
if someone falls or someone dies who is in line of duty and the person happens to be in a security service or in a security agency, certainly the person will be replaced with a family member.
I mean, I don't have a problem if, for instance, his children and his wife maybe are put on some sort of sponsorship structure, maybe for their education, all through basic to maybe the university level. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that's actually best practice, standard practice. But to say a relative from his family at all costs is going to be replaced, I mean, maybe at some other time we'll have the debates. But you see, like I've said all the time, we've been talking about the highest possible standards. And that is why these officers go through a very rigorous selection process. So it should, I mean, participation in our service, really, in our security services, should not come on a very silver platter. It should be competitive. The person should have that moral
but certainly when this individual who is going to pick from the family is sent into the service, the person will be trained. The person will be given the needed skill set to work.
Yeah, but you see, it's
this is a way to compensate or to commensurate.
I mean, like I'm saying, I understand why you'd want to put in place a measure like that. I'm only saying that such a process should go through an effective, rigorous system. It should not be just left because, or the person should not be just picked because he's a relative.
But I think that the right thing will be done. The best
like I'm saying,
will be chosen.
The person in the first place, the person in the first place should have an interest in whatever he's going to be picked for. He or she is going to be picked for. The person should, of course, meet all other existing standards. You get it? So maybe we need to revise it. But like I'm saying, I'm all for other forms of compensation, like sponsoring the children through school. Some of the time, when one happened, Michael Hamile happened somewhere 2020 in Nandom. Another immigration officer was killed like that. I mean, he was promoted posthumously, even in Ashaman, Sheriff, when he was killed, we saw some members of parliament coming together promising to sponsor his siblings who at the time was alive. He was taking care of them. I mean, some of these things can be encouraged, and maybe we should have a proper structure in place about the replacement of service members who lose their life in the line of duty. But as it stands now, just handpicking people to go into the service because you want to sustain the memory of a fallen service person, I think we need to look at it again.
Well, it has to be revised, and that is what Jude Mensah Duncan is saying. Let's move away from that story and bring you another sad story. And 2 dead following clashes between 2 farming communities in Wa East District of the Upper East region. Let's bring you that insight.
2 persons have been found dead after a clash between 2 farming communities in the Wa East District of the Upper West region. The 2 were among 4 persons who could not be traced after the clash between the Vise and Gudayiri communities last Sunday over a parcel of land. Several others also received varying degrees of injury, creating a state of insecurity in the 2 communities and their surrounding villages. City News' Latif Mahama has more in the following report.
According to the Upper West Regional Police CID, the Vise and the Gudayiri communities in the Wa East District of the Upper West region clashed last Sunday, April 2nd, between 8 and 9 in the morning over a parcel of land in the area. Several persons received machete and gun wounds and were rushed to the Upper West Regional Hospital, while 4 persons could not be traced. A search party, including the family members of the victims, the police and some members of the Vise community, who started searching on Monday, found 2 of the missing persons on Wednesday, April 5th, almost decomposing.
On Sunday, a team of our boys went to visit our area, beyond VC and beyond, to monitor our cattle and to monitor our land. And little did they know there was a team who had planned to attack them. And there was that attack. An estimated over 300 people, well armed, attacked them. Our team, there were just 27 people who went there to do our routine monitoring of the area. And over 300 people attacked them. They called for police support to enable them come home. I came and reported. And on that Sunday evening, a team of 10 policemen went, but they took the wrong side and came back with no results. Our people returned, less 4 men. Now, we went launch a search with the family, a search team and the police team. They found 2 bodies yesterday. 2 are yet to be found. So that is the process.
As at 2 p.m. on Thursday, a pathologist was deployed to the crime scene to examine the bodies before they could be released to their families for burial in accordance with Islamic tradition. The police declined to comment on camera, but City News can confirm that the situation has created a state of insecurity in the 2 communities, as some people have started fleeing the area.
As the police continue with their search to find the 2 remaining bodies, residents around Vise and Gudayiri are calling on them to beef up security in the area to restore calm. Reporting for City News, Latif Mahama. Wa.
And that's a very big issue in the Wa East District. And what we've been talking about here is peaceful coexistence. If it's 2 farming communities and there's an issue, at least it should be resolved amicably and not entering into attacking each other. And at the end of the day, you're going to find people dying as a result of this.
I mean, Philip, I agree with you. When I read the story and I heard that the Visa and the Gudayiri communities are clashing, I mean, like you say, in this age, really, and in this time of our lives as a people, these are some of the stories that we do not want to be reporting on at all. And we understand that out of the 4 people that reported missing, 2 were later confirmed dead. Even more worrying for me. So we want to plead with them to cease fire. We want to plead with the police officers to be on top of this particular issue. I mean, if you go to these communities and you speak to some of our correspondents there, I mean, they tell you that, see, the police know some of these things. They know the people behind some of these things. But for some reasons, they don't come out as strong unless, of course, there's some really intense public pressure or national pressure on the issue. But we are saying, like you said,
maybe the police may know these people, but investigation would bring out the actual person who did this thing. I mean, it may be that they are aware that, oh, okay, it may come from this person or it may come from that person. But if the community members are able to also reveal or give out information to the Ghana Police Service or the police officers in charge, it's also going to help the process to at least arrest these perpetrators on time.
I agree with you 100% on this. And like I'm saying, I admit that the police in certain parts of the country, especially in northern Ghana, may not be as resourced as like we have them here in Accra. But the truth of the matter is that if the Ghana police are interested in a case and want to reach a reasonable end of it, trust me, they will go all out and get to the end of it.
So you think they should go all out and get to the end of it?
Yeah, I mean, because 2 families have lost breadwinners. 2 families have lost probably a father, a brother, an uncle, a breadwinner. So it's important that justice is served. And for me, you see, some of these communities have huge economic potential. The only reason they are not thriving is because of these incessant clashes every now and then. So we want to plead with them. If you want good jobs, you want economic activities booming, you want proper infrastructure, you'd have to desist from some of these things, because eventually it has its way of going on to improve the investment government and even private sector make in those communities. So we want to call for ceasefire and hope that cool heads prevail as the police go ahead to investigate
So
this issue.
a ceasefire, all what you want is peaceful coexistence, and that is what we want, is one Ghana and one people. Let's move away from this story and bring you that interesting, or rather also sad story from the Business Senior High School, where one student got injured after fire gutted the boys' dormitory in that institution.
Well, let's now take you to the northern region, where one student has sustained injuries after a fire gutted a boys' dormitory block of the Business Senior High School in the Sanarigu municipality. According to fire officials, the incident happened on Thursday dawn and affected the school prefect's room. Our northern regional correspondent Danyame reports.
This single room to the left houses prefects at the boys' dormitory of the Business Senior High School in the Sanarigu municipality. On Thursday, it was razed down by fire, injuring the assistant school prefect. Currently, the school is on Easter break, and as such, few students were on campus during the time of the incident. The fire destroyed students' properties, including books, mattresses, and trunks, among others. The assistant headmistress in charge of domestic, Leila Kabora, has been speaking to City News about the condition of the affected student.
At about 2:40 a.m. this morning, a master called me to inform me that a student came to his house to inform me that the boys' dormitory was on fire. So we rushed here to realize that one of our students was in the dormitory while the fire was burning. So we called the fire service. Their timely intervention, they were able to quench the fire. But the boy who was in the fire is at the hospital responding to treatment. It's severe because the burns, his face, they are just part of his body. It's burnt.
The PRO for the Ghana National Fire Service in the region, ADO2 Baba Hudu, spoke about the intensity of the incident.
The fire was actually limited or suppressed and contained in that particular room alone. It wasn't, the other 10 rooms wasn't affected. On the spot investigation revealed that there was power fluctuations, but we as a service and as technical men, we do not rely on only hearsay. Our investigation team has commenced investigation today. So in due course, they will be able to unravel the actual cause of the fire, and it will be communicated to you.
The assistant headmaster in charge of academic, Mohammed Sani Alassan, is appealing to authorities to come to their aid.
So this particular thing has come to actually cause us inconvenience, and we want to appeal to authorities that they should take this particular matter seriously.
And that is the headmaster of the Business Senior High School in Sagnarigu municipality of the northern region is asking that, benevolent people should come to their aid following this incident. But one interesting thing that the fire service noted there is what they picked up, the information they picked up is power fluctuation, which is very important in recent times because I think the Electricity Company of Ghana has also issued a statement of some light out between the period of 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. daily in some areas. So I think that if you are moving out of your home and there is nobody at home, you should as well try and put everything off if you think it's not safe. But this incident is a very dire one that the student or the institution needs help immediately.
I mean, Philip, I agree with you. There's a very important call for everyone really to go back to the effective use of energy conservation. I remember growing up when on TV it was always in our faces, the use electricity wisely, save the Akosombo. I'm sure you remember that song. And I mean, it helped because for a lot of people, including myself, it became like a mental block. So each time we're leaving the house, because we've seen it on our TV, we see it in the newspaper, we see the song being sung on radio, you go back to double check whether your iron is on, you go back to where the light is off. So it was important. We've not seen a lot of that in recent times.
Even if you don't have fridge guard, you may as well put off your fridge when you're leaving home so that you
exactly.
wouldn't have issues with that.
But on this particular issue, the block of the business senior high school in Sagnarigu, I mean, it's unfortunate. I remember when not too long ago, it was also reported in the news that Accra Academy, my alma mater.
For your people, you'll be having a lot of fire incidents.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it happened not one, not two, not three. I think several times. How many times?
It was just twice. But I mean, I remember the whole social media meme that broke out at the time, and some of the reasons that were being alluded to, some of which not true, some of them just. But you see, the point is that once you put students in a certain place, I mean, you can't be too sure of what they are engaging at a point in time as to why it would lead to some of these things. So we want to plead with the management of some of our schools I don't know how to put it.
I think it's for them to keenly monitor. Because I remember very well in the senior high school, when you are going, you check your trunk, your chop boxes, whether you are having heater with you, whatever electrical gadgets you're having with you.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a challenge in the dormitory will certainly not be taken in there.
Yeah, I mean, for most parts, for instance, when I was in school, we were really restricted to the number of electrical appliances we could use. I mean, it was just irons, basically. Yes. But even for the large part of it, when you go to the ironing room, it's just a few people who have their irons there, so you don't even necessarily have to bring an iron. But I mean, of course, students being students, they want to sneak in a heater here and there.
A heater for macaroni.
They want to and Indomie. They want to sneak in a mobile phone charger here and there. And I mean, in some instances, you even find people in the dorm do illegal electrical connections to be able to charge their devices and all of that. And eventually, these are the things that lead to the outbreaks because of the electrical faults that develop and all of that. So we want to plead with the schools. They should heighten their
surveillance.
Yeah, their surveillance
in the dormitories.
But now that we understand that the schools are being oversubscribed and teachers are being woefully outnumbered, it's going to be a very difficult call. But we hope that some way, somehow, they are able to manage the situation. And of course, if you have a ward in school, you have a brother in school, you have a sister, I mean, you should speak to them. I mean, yes, we can't just afford to leave the conversation to the teachers and their guardians in school. Parents, talk to your children about the important use of it. And my final call goes to the ECG. Like I said, back in the day, remember the song. We remember the public advocacy on effective use of energy conservation. I think it's not too late to still have that kind of public drive and sensitization on an issue like this. One, to prevent outbreaks like we've seen, and two, so that we are able to, as a people, effectively manage our energy use in the country.
So the Ghana National Fire Service says that it's investigating the incident that happened at the Business Senior High School in Sagnarigu municipality of the northern region. Well, this should also inform almost all the headmasters, headmistresses, house masters, house mistresses on how well to monitor the activities of students in the various dormitories. You are still watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. Lands and Natural Resources Ministry gives 2-week ultimatum to GNPC to rehabilitate Prestia Sankofa mines or have the mine shut down. Stay with us, we'll be back with more stories.
Get ready to experience another never-to-be-forgotten evening as the Symphonials proudly presents a mega musical concert dubbed Grazioso 2023. Theme, Come Let Us Sing. This program is slated on Saturday, 15th April 2023 at the Accra International Conference Center. Time 4 p.m. Tickets regular 50 Ghana cedis, VIP 100 Ghana cedis. You can purchase your ticket using the short code *800*801# or call these ticket hotlines 0201-471-209 or 0555-910-963. Come for a delightful experience in God's presence, worshiping and praising through His music. Sponsors: Valley View University, Ren Power Systems, Wiggle IT Solutions, J Short, Time to Think Foundation, Advent Press, Premium Star Quality Group Limited, Agile Ventures, Media Partners, City TV, CTFM, Hope Channel Ghana, Metro TV, Praise TV, and ABN. It's going to be super massive, so don't miss out. Come and enjoy an evening of music that will leave an indelible mark on your heart.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You're welcome back. Let's bring you some more stories. And the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry has given 2-week ultimatum to GNPC to rehabilitate Prestia Sankofa mines or have the mines shut down. Let's bring you that insight.
And the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry has given a 2-week ultimatum to the GNPC to rehabilitate the corroded Prestia Sankofa mines or have the mines shut down. The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, George Mirkuduka, speaking during a working visit to the Prestia Sankofa gold mines owned by the GNPC, said the state of corrosion and deterioration at the plant is not good for the safety of workers. Therefore, he will shut down the mines if the GNPC and its managers fail to carry out the rehabilitation. City News' Akwasi Ejeanim has more from Prestia.
Prestia Sankofa Mines is one of the assets of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC. Sankofa does not carry out direct mining, but processes mining tailings from major mines as well as mining waste from small-scale mines, including Galamsey waste. After years of inconsistent operation, the GNPC-owned Prestia Sankofa mine is deteriorated in both plant infrastructure and the environment. The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, George Mirkuduka, after meeting Sankofa's newly appointed Managing Director and touring the plant, expressed disappointment and threatened to shut it down in 2 weeks if the necessary works are not done.
The gaps are many. Very unwarranted kind of corrosive materials around, and that are mostly rusted, and they need to be re-engineered and refabricated. The environment is not serene enough for mining. Looking at where it sits and those who are behind it, the GNPC. So I'm urging GNPC to quickly, as a matter of urgency, we either close it down or they get the place refurbished to meet standards. If you look at the clinic in itself needs medication. How would that clinic even prescribe medication to workers? Very unfortunate. And I have given them 2 weeks to get it renovated. Otherwise, we will come and shut the operations of Sankofa, because we cannot put the lives of poor Ghanaians under this risk. So they need to get the clinic refurbished. They need to also pave at least the compound and get it or make it serene enough for workers to work. So GNPC has a clear task of taking this mandate immediately through their MD. It is very, very important. We are not happy with the environment, but we are happy with the managerial experience that they have initiated. I am happy that they've gotten a new MD who has the vision to work tirelessly to meet international best practices. But if he's not supported adequately, he can't do it. And from the measures he's indicated to me, I believe if he's given the needed support, you will do better. So we are asking the corporate behind us to make sure they work closely, hand in gloves, with the MD to get this place to a better standard.
The newly appointed Managing Director of Prestia Sankofa Mines, Justice Aqua, who until his recent appointment was the personal assistant to the Western Regional Minister, in a response said, though they are doing their best, Prestia Sankofa is now facing competition from several tailing processing companies.
Speak is the fact that, there are a lot of tailing companies springing up in the Western region. I personally do not understand why they all looking up to the Western region, because currently there are 13 out of the 16 regions in Ghana doing mining. So we in the past go all the way to Eastern region, all the way to the Northern region, Upper East, Upper West, to bring materials to process here. Why are the new companies or the regulators not giving licenses to people to also set up in those areas? Currently in Western region, around this enclave, I can count about 5 tailing processing companies, and we're all competing for the same material, and it is in a way affecting us. So we asked the Minerals Commission, the minister is here, I've already mentioned it in our engagement, that going forward, they should put up a policy so that we don't all climb up at a place, but rather they can spread it across the country. We are not saying that we are afraid of competition, but then when there's distribution, it gives equal room for higher production.
So the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry is not excited about the nature or some of the facilities at the Prestia mining site. That is the Sankofa mines at Prestia, and is asking that these facilities should be put in proper shape. For instance, the Deputy Minister spoke about the clinic that is not having the needed equipment to run the facility, and that should be put in the right shape. I think that is a very good call that is making, because the lives of employees and even the employers are even very much important, that you have to get the right things done so that they can be in good shape when they are working.
Yeah, I mean, Philip, in 2018, I quite recall when there was some sort of shake-up at the Prestia gold mine, when government sort of put in place a new management team to oversee the management of the mine. A lot of people at the time, including stakeholders, PIAC, commenting on the issue, they felt that that was what was needed to revamp and revitalize the Prestia gold mine, to make it a very viable source of revenue for the state. But 4 years down the line, it is still the same old story. In 2021, this publication by Ghana Today also reveals the fact that there was some commitment at the time to get it to work again. So, I mean, you get a problem that even though there appears to be some government direction in trying to get the mines working efficiently again, there always appears to be some roadblock in an attempt to fix the challenges. And for me, it's become a white elephant, basically, and it's unfortunate that it's gotten to this level. I think the directive or the order from the Deputy Lands Minister is in its right state. I mean, you can understand why GNPC would sort of shift its focus from the mine to just focus on what they are doing now, because then again you get the impression that it's a very cost-intensive initiative to manage a mine. And like I've said, I'm not sure about giving it out to private managers or a private firm to come and do. But if in the long term you're unable to find a lasting solution to it, maybe then it's an alternative government can begin to consider. And that, of course, should go through a very competitive process where whatever is agreed upon goes directly into the benefit of the country. So for me, it's a right call, it's a solid call, not only the Prestea gold mine, but other governments. So for instance, Store, we've been saying for God knows how long that if you look at the challenges we have with, at the time, the increasing rise of petroleum products, the experts or people in the industry identify that, see, if we are able to fix Store, that's the Tema Oil Refinery, and get it functioning at its highest capacity, it was going to save us a lot in an attempt to bring down fuel prices. But what is the current state of thought? Still nothing to write home about. So for me, it's about time we need to look at that whole industry again and see how we are letting a lot go to waste because we failed to put in place the necessary investments in these sectors. And I believe when the conversations are being had, civil society, academia, and even political leadership themselves, let's sit down together and see how we need, as a matter of urgency, to put an end to all of these rich resources that are just going waste because of government's lack of actions and government actions and government inactions.
But this is largely about workplace safety, and safety is key at every workplace. Still on the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, because it's threatening to revoke the license of mining companies that are caught dealing with illegal miners. Let's bring you that insight.
Lands and Natural Resources is threatening to revoke the licenses of mining companies that are caught dealing with illegal miners in their operations. City News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
The Lands and Natural Resources Ministry is embarking on a vigorous monitoring exercise to clamp down on mining firms that have secured licenses without following due process. The ministry says it is following up on some complaints it received about some firms who are operating without using the right procedures to secure their licenses. Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister George Mirukuduka led officials of the ministry and the Minerals Commission to TW Mines, a mining company in the Amansia Central District of the Ashanti region. The company deals mainly in the processing of mining waste from small-scale mining firms within the operational area. The Deputy Lands Minister told the management not to deal with illegal miners.
We'll see how you display these licenses and how you apply them. And obviously where you get your tailings also from. Traceability is key to us because we're discouraging people mining in our forest reserves and people mining illegally. And if these tailings are in a way secured or procured from illegal miners, then we need to find a way of stopping that. And it is the reason, the main reason why we're here. Where do you get the tailings to mine or to process the ore or the gold? It is key and important as a country to know some of these companies where they get their tailings, because purposely they process or mine the tailings, and that is where they get their gold from.
Mr. Duka also disclosed that the ministry will soon summon mining companies to get them to showcase what they are doing to support the local communities they operate in.
Map out and group all the mining companies to come and showcase the things that they have been doing to support the communities around or the catchment area.
Member of Parliament for Odotobri, Akwesi Jemfi, warns the management of the mining firm to create more employment opportunities to help bring development to the area.
What we intend doing is for companies to create local content within their activities. And the local content, I think it is not too much to do. For instance, if you are recruiting, there are specific areas that you don't need to bring people from Accra, from Kumasi, or from maybe outside the country. There are people with that experience, that skills within, and that people should be given opportunity to also participate in the activities. I believe that this company, as the way and manner it has been organized, should be able to recruit most of our local people as part of their workforce.
The TW Mines, which began operations in August 2022, has so far produced 176.320 ounces of gold. The firm has also employed more than 100 workers out of the 155 workers locally, and out of this number, 52 of the staff are from the Nyame and adjoining communities in the catchment area. The company, which is a partnership between a Ghanaian and Chinese firm, has 5 Chinese expatriate workers. The deputy minister also met government communicators in the Ashanti region to brief them on efforts to sanitize the mining sector.
So it's kind of an accountable session where we'll account to you the things done and what we intend doing as far as Galamsey menace is concerned.
The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is seeking the support of all stakeholders to help bring sanity to the country's mining sector. Hafiz Tijani, City News.
So this is a very nice call from the Lands Ministry. Reason is that this is going to help in the fight against illegal mining, and now that government is pushing in a lot of funds to deal with the illegal mining menace in this country. This is very important because if they are to revoke the licenses of mining companies that are caught dealing with illegal miners in their operations, certainly they will stop. And if your license is revoked, that means you're out of business.
I mean, Philip, yeah, that's true. I mean, once your license is taken away from you, you don't have what it takes to continue doing business in the space again. But I see, Philip, going back to even the previous story about the poor state of the Prestia mine and now the challenge of illegal mining. You see, at the heart of proper legal mining in the country is the issue of safety. So, I mean, there's a zero tolerance to irresponsible or practices that are considered largely unsafe in the mining areas. I mean, I quite recall when I was at the university, I mean, my student work experience took me to a mining company in Ghana where I had a 3-year internship with them. And you see, Philip, even not at the mine, even at like their regional office, you couldn't walk in a place that was designated as a car park. That is how strict they were on safety issues. So now you come here and you look at the state of the Prestia mine, where probably staff do not even have proper PPEs to put on when they have to go near the mine. Or you come and deal with the even more deadly situation about people working directly with illegal miners. And we know the risks associated with the illegal mining space in the country, where every now and then we understand that now they are even armed. So some of them go to the mines with their own arms. We understand that some of them would engage in all sorts of means really to make ends meet for them at the end of the day. So it's a very important call that we check the influx of illegal miners trying to sort of find a way into the system and try to change and become legal by working with mining companies that are supposed to be doing it in a much more sustainable and, for want of a better word, legal way. I think it's very important because then, you see, like the popular saying goes, one bad nut spoils the whole. So it's very important, and for me, both the call to rehabilitate the Prestia mine, to make it reach its or world standards in terms of safety, and of course the call to make sure that illegal miners do not have a safe haven in legal mines. They are both very important calls.
And now that the Lands Ministry has said this, that they may revoke the license of these companies if they are found dealing with illegal miners. It shouldn't end at talking.
Yeah, it shouldn't just be a threat.
Yes,
I agree with you.
The action should also follow. You are watching CNR Extra here on CCTV. Still to come. Ghana Medical Association petitions Asantehene to intervene in overturning a decision to evict 50 senior medical officers occupying government bungalows at Danyame in the Ashanti region. Stay with us, we're back with that story.
Really need to think of a way to make some money. I could start a church. Yeah. Something. Or say it's evangelistic ministry.
Consider me because me, people like us here, we make a dead spring.
What is it? I'm traumatized. There are men and there are men.
What song is that?
Oh, gospel. Like all men are men. Jesus is the man.
It's only 20 minutes past 10.
You know what can happen in 20 minutes? A play can be prepared in 20 minutes. Children can be conceived in 20 minutes.
Guys, I hear that.
Baby.
You're welcome back. Let's bring you some more stories. And the Ghana Medical Association has petitioned the Asantehene to intervene in the overturning of the decision to evict 50 senior medical officers occupying government bungalows at Danyame in the Ashanti region.
Association GMA has petitioned the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II to intervene in overturning a decision to evict over 50 senior medical officers who are occupying government bungalows at Danyame in the Ashanti region. Now, the doctors want the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council to reverse its directive or risk picketing at the council's premises. Our Ashanti Regional Correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim reports.
In a letter dated 9th March 2023 and signed by the Chief Director of the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council, ICC Emilia Ayabimbochi, a directive was given for all occupants of government bungalows located around Danyame and Kumasi to vacate those areas. According to the Regional Coordinating Council, the areas have been revested and released to the Asantehene under the Executive Instrument 432 of 2021 with respect to redevelopment of Sector 18 of Kumasi. The statement added that this was to inform all occupants of the government bungalows within the area that the lands have eventually been taken over by the Goldings too. The ICC further stated that arrangements are being made to relocate the affected persons before the deadline for eviction, which is July 2023. The Ghana Medical Association, which has over 50 of its members been affected by this decision, however, says they have not been engaged on the matter formally and were not given prior notice on the development. The Ashanti Regional President of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Pa Kwesi Beidu, says the decision is unfair and has created uneasiness amongst members as many of them have spent huge sums of monies on renovating the structures in recent times.
Do you know the cost of having or renting an accommodation now? So if you spend about 100,000 150,000 in some instances renovating a bungalow that has been given to you by your institution, because the institutions didn't have money to renovate these. And they tell you, per the agreement, you do it and it will go towards your rent. And then somebody now comes, because I am the regional minister or I'm the regional coordinating council, move out without respect to the people and the caliber of people. If it's their properties, they also have some bungalows which they've left to rot. Okay, if it's those ones they want to give out because they don't have money to do, those from the other institutions are well maintained because the occupants were made to spend money to renovate those. So it will be unfair to just, with a stroke of a pen, say, leave.
Dr. Parkwesi Beidu tells City News the Ghana Medical Association has petitioned the Asantehene to intervene. He has also served notice that they will picket at the Regional Coordinating Council to call on authorities to address their concerns.
So it's brought about a lot of uneasiness. And as the Ghana Medical Association Ashanti region, we've indicated, we want peaceful resolution to that. But if this is not coming from Otumfo and rather from the politicians, as we said, the land belongs to Otumfo. If he asks that all doctors should leave, we will leave. But if not, and it's the Regional Coordinating Council, as they've been doing, then what we do, we'll start picketing at their end. So we'll stop work and go and protest once or twice a week, starting next month.
For now, the Ashanti Regional Chapter of the Ghana Medical Association wants the Regional Coordinating Council to rescind the decision to evict over 50 of its members that are currently living in government bungalows around Danyame. According to the Ghana Medical Association, their members are being treated unfairly, especially as they've invested thousands of Ghana cedis into renovating these structures. For CNR, Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Kumasi.
GMA is not excited about the decision to evict its 50 officers, medical officers. But another issue that the officer raised there is the consultational engagement, letting them know ahead of time that this is the exercise we'll be embarking on. I think issues with engagement is always what we have in here, that the people involved in the exercise or who would have the exercise affected weren't engaged. I think that they should just go to the round table and just solve this issue.
Yeah, I mean, engagement goes into the heart of a lot of things we do here, and it's important that for an issue very delicate as
very
this.
delicate. There has to be issues with shelter.
Exactly, and I mean, you can imagine what would happen if, for some reason, they don't have a place of abode. You get it, and that is how, to a large extent, miscreants and societal misfits are bred. So we don't want that in a society. So we hope that the lasting solution is found to this. All the necessary stakeholders, like you said, are brought together to see how this can be rectified. I mean, it takes my mind back to a story we discussed. Was it last week about a similar issue at Budumbram, when a private developer just went in and evicted people
and the
like
DC
that?
came out to say that this
He didn't have any idea about it. And I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, like, how can such a very pronounced, not pronounced as in like, how can an activity like that involves security officials, numbering over 30 of them per the video evidence we saw, go and undertake such a major operation
without the permission or informing the DC?
And mind you, the district assembly is the assembly. He's the head of DISEC. Exactly. So, like, what security arrangements were made prior to that? So, like we've said, we condemned that. We hope that for this particular story that we are discussing in Danyame, I believe is the name of the Danyame, we reach some proper consensus on the way forward. Yes.
Well, that's how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on CCTV. From our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, Accra. My name is Philip Nilata. I did this with Jude Mensa Duncan. Many thanks for your time and keep watching CCTV.